Hello guys, Oscar Hotel 8 Sierra Tango November here from Survival Tech Nord. Today we're talking about preparedness, but more specifically, asymmetric or asynchronous communications for preparedness. What you're looking at now is a Winlink session, and more specifically, Pat Winlink running on a Raspberry Pi with the ICOM IC705 QRP radio and the Samsung Galaxy S5e tablet acting as a wireless screen. Now, when we normally talk about data communications for preparedness, it usually means one person is on one side of the keyboard with their radio, and another person is someplace else in the world in front of their radio and keyboard, happily typing away in real time. The only problem with this methodology or this way of communicating is we are not always on the radio or in front of the radio at the same time as the person we'd like to talk to. So we need to formulate a methodology of communicating with amateur radio operators and non-amateur radio operators alike. So this is the focus of today's video, using Winlink for asymmetric or asynchronous communications and preparedness. As always, if you stick with me a while, I'll tell you all about it.
You are listening to the Emergency Broadcast Systems. This station broadcasts emergency news and official information on the air for a signed narrative.
There are two pretty difficult questions to answer when we're talking about communications for preparedness. The first of those questions is, how do we communicate with people who may or may not be amateur radio operators? And the second is, how do we make sure the people we want to communicate with will receive messages or information we send to them, even though they're not on the radio? Now, when it comes to asynchronous communications for preparedness, one of our best tools in amateur radio is the ability to send email over the air. Now, using Winlink email isn't that much different than using Google or Hotmail or any one of these other type of email services. The difference is we use our radios and a hybrid network to get those emails out into the world. Now, I suppose one of the least known features of Winlink email is the ability to send emails to amateur radio operators and non-amateur radio operators alike. For amateur radio operators, all they need is their radio and the data mode equipment they would normally use for any of the other data modes they use. Now, getting those emails to non-amateur radio operators, of course, they're going to need an email address, and they're going to have to find a way to get access to their emails in order to communicate with you. The good news here is communications over email is bidirectional. You can communicate with them off of the radio network, and they can communicate with you back on the radio network. Now, what's probably even more important than the network accessibility is the knowledge required to send and receive emails. For them, non-amateur radio operators, it's nothing more than sending an email like they do probably every day.